Okay guys, check it out. So as far as a rat rod goes, this is pretty much the one that you would want. It's a big block Chevy. It's not a super wazoo big block Chevy. It's a daily driver. You could daily this thing. It's got power steering. It's got a 671 blower. It's underdriven. I don't want to overdrive this car too much because it already has tons of horsepower. This thing will get you in trouble real quick. So the power steering makes it really nice. It's all air ride, so this thing will go down the road on air and you just float, okay? The great thing about it is it's got a Ford 8.8 rear end in it with disc brakes all the way around on the car. So it'll actually, you know, it'll stop. You know, a lot of these rat rods I see out there, guys, and they got some janky shit set up, and you know, you got to have something with good brakes if you got a lot of horsepower. You know, you got to be able to stop these things. You know, of course, it's a 30 Model A coupe, 5-window, one of my favorite bodies of all time. These are still available that you can find once in a while. The 32s and 34s are so hard to find, but this is what a lot of guys are doing for rat rods right now, is a Model A. This Model A I actually drug out of a backyard in North Las Vegas in a shitty side of town, and drug this out of this lady's yard. Had been buried in there. Come to find out, the car was a magazine car back in like the early 70s, the late 60s. It actually had fenders, big fenders over the tires, and it was crazy. It had a V6 Buick in it. Anyway, it had tons of cool stuff on it. But, you know, I got the wire brush out, started wire brushing this thing and getting it down to bare metal because of the Bondo that was in this car. And, you know, I feel like, you know, when you cover them all up, you just don't really see what they really are. And I went over this thing for literally like 2 weeks with a wire wheel and got all of the Bondo out of it, even into the rust and stuff. I wanted to clean it up. They'd covered a lot of stuff. You could see where this thing has been welded together multiple times over its lifetime. And I think that just brings character to the car. I mean, I always feel that way. And I think if you own a rat rod or you want one, that's kind of what you're looking for, is you're looking for something that is rough, that tells a story, that has a soul, that has a meaning to it. And this car definitely has everything that you would want to have a cool rat rod. It's got a big fat tire on the back. These 8.8 rear ends are 31 spline rear axles, so they're really hard to break. They're super strong. Disc brakes back here. You can see in the back here, it's got your air ride here, your fuel tank, your bottles for your suspension. Right now the car is all the way up off the ground because I was just driving it. But this thing was made to drive. When we first decided to build this car, Justin Kramer, my little brother-in-law that's a badass, we sat down and we talked about how could we drift with this thing? Can we make it drift? And so we set up the front end where you could actually full lock turn this car. For a big long car, you could drift the hell out of it in this parking lot. And it has power steering, so it makes it even easier to drive. It's pretty sweet. The wheels on the rear and the front rims, believe it or not, those are the original diesel rat rod tires. They're probably, God, they're 15 years old, the rims and tires in the front of this thing. But of course, I'm gonna change the tires on this thing and freshen all the tires up and get it back to where it's, you know, a good solid car with good wheels and tires on it. And I will be doing a lot of things on the car, just upgrading a few things. My buddy Frank got this car for me for a while, and he did some touches on it. He owns a distillery, so the interior of the car was structured around his distillery. So we did a little collab together, and I wound up with the car back, and we're just gonna go ahead and take this thing and let someone else have a cool rat rod that can go out and enjoy it, have fun, get that adrenaline rush of pulling up to the car show with a big block Chevy loping with a blower on it. It just, you can't, I'm telling you, you can't, you just don't know what that feeling's like. It just feels so great. So anyway, we're gonna be doing some things on this car as we go. We're gonna keep you in the loop. Somebody's gonna win this car or $100,000 cash. We'll see how it goes.